What would the impact on your industry be of 200% tariffs?
Thank you very much. The impact is very clear. Is from one day to the other, we will have to stop to send our wines to the United States. There is no way we can sell wines in the United States. We can reach this market if we have if we are suffering a 200% tariff.
You represent 7,000 companies, wine producers and other producers within the wine and alcohol space in Europe. What would it mean for jobs? What would it mean for the industry? Would the industry be able to reship some of these products to other trading partners?
No, there is no way we can reship to other trading partners. So the United States is the biggest wine market for European wines. So 27% of our exports reach the US markets. And the wines we send to the US are normally higher price because the US, together maybe with the UK and a bit with Switzerland, are the best markets for wines. They really appreciate quality wines. So we are talking about almost 5 billion euros that from one day to the other will not have a market. And there is no way we can resend these wines to other. We can have an alternative market. So in jobs, it's difficult to count because the problem of the wine sector is you cannot stop production. You have your vine, you have your grapes, you have to continue the harvest, but there is no place to put your wine. In the cellar, firstly, and then after, you don't have a market. So it will be a hard hit to the European wine sector and to hundreds of thousands of companies and winemakers.
Are we talking about companies closing down potentially as a result of this? Are we potentially looking at bailouts for some parts of this industry? I mean, how deeply damaging would it ultimately be?
Well, the damage is difficult to calculate, but I will assure that many grape growers, and we have around 2.3 million grape growers in the European Union, those people will not have companies to sell the grapes because the companies will not have a market to sell the wines. So yes, definitively there will be a lot of companies who are now, the wine sector is suffering a crisis, there is a decline of wine consumption globally. So this will be the extra layer in the crisis, and definitively we will see companies closing the door because there is no way that we can send to find an alternative market. So critical damage and putting in serious situation the long-term sustainability of our companies.
Is it time, longer term, for your industry to deprioritize the US market?
Yes, obviously, we like to deprioritize. We love to have several other markets around the world that can absorb, but it takes years. I mean, it took us 30, 40 years to invest in the US market and to develop it. It has taken us 20 years to invest in China. The relation we have with the UK is centuries-based relation. So yes, ideally and theoretically, we like to do it. In practice, in the short term, I'm talking about 5, 7, 10 years. That's the short term in the wine sector. There is no way we can revert all of these wine flows to other markets. But yes, definitely we will have to look to other places. And Mercosur, it's an opportunity open to us. But it will take years also to develop the wine market in Mercosur.
Okay, so it's a much longer-term proposition. Ignacio, what is your message? You're sitting in Brussels. What is your message to the European Commission? Because the Trump administration would say this threatened 200% tariff is a measure to be imposed to retaliate to Europe's own retaliatory tariffs targeting US whiskey. Was that the wrong decision from the European Commission?
I think the wrong decision for the European Commission and also for the US administration, obviously, is to take wine and other agri-food products and spirit drinks within an unrelated trade dispute. I mean, why the agri-sector, why wine, why bourbon needs to pay for a trade dispute in the steel and aluminium? I mean, we want our sector to be exempted aside of these integrated trade disputes. So yes, our call to the European Commission has been from years now. When the first war on steel and aluminium started, the first dispute was leave wine outside. And we were, at the time, we were successful in convincing the Commission not to hit the US wine, because we have nothing against the US wine. We are not protectionists. We have a super good relations with them, and together with the Wine Institute, so my counterpart in the US, we are asking for no retaliation on our products.
Ignacio, is there a silver lining for consumers in terms of a surplus of wine on the European markets and lower prices for European consumers?
The risk, obviously, there will be a risk that the price go down because companies need to empty the cellars to when the new harvest will arrive. But the prices of wine that we normally send to the US will not flow the EU market at a low price. So there will be a lot of tension. We will see a reduction of the prices. We'll see companies trying just to empty part of the cellar. But the volumes that we are sending to the US will not flood the EU market in any case. And prices of the wine is relatively cheap.